Bonjour and bienvenue. This is Fabulously Delicious, the French food podcast, and today you're listening to a special episode in our The Story of series. In this series, we dive deep into the lives of remarkable French chefs from history, the pioneers, the innovators, the legends who shaped French cuisine and left an indelible mark on the culinary world. From their humble beginnings to their greatest achievements, personal triumphs, and lasting legacies, we uncover the fascinating stories behind the names that continue to inspire chefs and food lovers today. I'm your host, Andrew Pryor. Enchanté.
Enchanté.
I'm a former MasterChef contestant, now living my dream in France. I'm passionate about exploring French food and history as well as its culture. Through the series, I hope to bring these culinary icons to life and share their fabulous journeys with you, my fabulously delicious audience. In this episode, we're uncovering the fascinating and tragic story of François Vatel, a culinary legend whose name is forever etched in French gastronomy. From his humble beginnings in Tournai to orchestrating some of the most extravagant feasts of the 17th century, Vatel's life was a testament to ambition, artistry, and unrelenting dedication. Yet, his pursuit of perfection came at a very great cost, culminating in one of the most dramatic and, some would say, most sad events in culinary history. Join us as we explore the rise and the fall of this extraordinary maître d'hôtel, whose legacy, maître d'hôtel, désolé for my French accent there, practically non-existent thanks to my Australian upbringing. His legacy continues to captivate chefs, historians, and food lovers around the world. So pour yourself a glass of wine, break a baguette, add a bit of saucisson, maybe some slice of delicious French cheese if you're lucky enough to have some, and settle in as we uncover the story of François Vatel. Welcome to Fabulously Delicious. François Vatel was born Fritz Karl Vatel on Friday, January the 17th in 1631. Tournai, where he was born, nestled in what is now known as Belgium, holds the distinction of being one of the oldest Gallo-Roman cities in the region. However, at the time of François's birth, Tournai was actually a part of Spanish Netherlands, a territory with a vibrant history shaped by various cultural and political influences. François' early life was rooted in modest beginnings. His father, a labourer on a farm in the northern plains, hoped that his son would one day follow in his footsteps and continue the family's agrarian legacy. But François, it seemed, was destined for a different path. Uninterested in life and farming, he sought to forge his own destiny beyond those fields. At the age of 15 in 1646, François began an apprenticeship under Johann Heverand, his brother's godfather, as a pastry chef and a cook. This pivotal decision marked the beginning of a remarkable career, setting the stage for his ascent into the world of the culinary arts. By 1653, François, now 22 years old, secured a position as a kitchen squire at the magnificent Château de Vaux-le-Vicomte. This opulent estate was owned by Nicolas Fouquet, Viscount of Melun and Marquis of Belle-Île. The estate was a symbol of grandeur and ambition. Fouquet, recently appointed the Superintendent of Finance by Cardinal Mazarin, served under the young King Louis XIV, who was then just 15 years old. Fouquet was a man of immense ambition, and his vision for the Vaux-le-Vicomte reflected his aspirations. On August the 17th in 1661, he hosted an extravagant inauguration of the chateau, inviting none other than King Louis XIV, along with the Queen Mother, Anne of Austria, and the entire royal court, in fact. François Vatel, now elevated to the role of head of protocol and maître d'hôtel, was tasked with orchestrating this monumental event. François was in charge of organising the most grandiose and sumptuous parties for Fouquet, and of course with François' meticulous planning, it culminated in an extraordinary evening. The dinner featured 80 tables, 30 elaborate buffets, and 5 sumptuous services showcasing pheasants, quails, ortolans, and partridges, all served on solid gold plates for the royal guests and silver plates for the rest of the court, like you do. Music from a 24-piece violin ensemble filled the air, and there was even a specially composed comedy ballet, Le Fouquet, entertaining the guests. Fireworks illuminated the night sky, capping off the evening in a spectacular fashion. But despite the grandeur of the event, King Louis XIV was not pleased. The king, grappling with financial constraints himself while residing at Fontainebleau — if you've ever been to Fontainebleau, you might not understand why King Louis XIV was so upset. It's a bit of an extravagant place. But it was actually he was staying there because he was constructing Versailles. The king perceived Fouquet's display as an affront. It appeared to him that Fouquet lived more lavishly than the king himself. He said at the time, "We will have to make all these people go back." But the Queen Mother Anne of Austria managed to dissuade the king from immediate action, and Fouquet's fate was sealed. A month later, he was arrested in Nantes and sentenced to life imprisonment, all for having a more extravagant party than the king could. Are you planning a trip to France, heading to Paris, or are you one of those lucky ones that happen to live in this incredible city? Well, whether you're planning your dream foodie adventure or just looking to savor the best that Paris has to offer, I've got you covered. After years of living in and indulging my way through the city of lights, love and good food, I'm thrilled to share with you, my fabulously delicious audience, all those delicious discoveries. If you love French food as much as I do, then I think that this book is made for you. Introducing the 2025 edition of Paris, a fabulous food guide, the world's most delicious city. This isn't just an update, it's a celebration of all things food in Paris. It's packed with even more hand-picked recommendations, and the guide now features expanded sections for restaurants, cafes, bars, fromageries, boulangeries, and patisseries. Plus, I've even added new sections for vegan and vegetarian options, as well as dining with a view. And a revamped and expanded food walking tour inside, one of 3, to help you explore the city bite by bite. With over 400 listings, including iconic food streets, gourmet supply stores, wine bars, and more, this guide is the ultimate companion for anybody craving a true taste of Paris. Whether you're hunting down flaky croissants, creamy cheeses, or a perfectly poured cafe creme, you'll find it all inside. Grab your copy today at andrewpryorfabulously.com, where you can even order a signed and gift packaged version, which is perfect for any food-loving friends or family that you might have. Or head to Amazon, where it's available in print and on Kindle for instant foodie inspiration. Bon appetit and happy exploring, mes amis. After Fouquet's imprisonment, Francois, fearing repercussions, fled to England. His fears, though, were unfounded. Louis XIV sought not to imprison Francois and the other staff, but instead to transfer the exceptional staff from the Vaux-le-Vicomte into his own service at Versailles. However, Vatel's talents were not to remain hidden for long. Through Jean-Hurault de Greville, a trusted friend of Fouquet, Francois was introduced to Louis II de Bourbon, Prince of Condé, also known as Grand Condé. The Grand Condé, though once considered a traitor for his role in the Fronde of Princes, had been allowed to return to France after the French victory in the Franco-Spanish War. Stripped of public office and somewhat disgraced, he retreated to his Château de Chantilly. In 1663, François Vatel joined Condé's service as Controller General of the Mouth, a role that encompassed the management of the chateau's kitchens, its supplies, and basically overall organisation. I want to be a Controller General of the Mouth. The Prince of Condé was authorised to return to France and recover his belongings after the French won the war. Condé returned in 1660 and submitted to the king. He was not, though, given a public job, and his return was in disgrace. So he then retired to the Château in Chantilly. Vatel, though, in his duties as mouth of the castle, became indispensable, earning a reputation for his unwavering dedication and creative brilliance. The Prince of Condé in April 1671, after several years of beautification work on his Château of Chantilly, invited Louis XIV and the whole court of Versailles to a party aimed at reconciliation with the king, and hopefully allowing him to return to service for the king. There was also another scandal in the mix that the prince had to overcome. His wife, in January 1671, was exiled to Châteauroux by the king, but we do not know why. This party for the king was to last 3 days and 3 nights, from the evening of Thursday the 23rd of April and go on until the evening of Saturday the 25th of April. There was to be 3 sumptuous banquets for the king and 3,000 members of the court of Versailles. There were actually only 10 bedrooms at the chateau at the time, so Francois had to organise not just the food and the entertainment, but also accommodation for all of those members of the court. Condé's fate then depends on the success of the festivities, and the prince definitely made sure that Francois knew this. To add to the pressure for this 3-day party, Francois was only given 15 days' notice to prepare, refine menus, and basically party plan the whole event, with the additional pressure that the King of France had to love it. No pressure at all, really. Remembering, though, that the last time Francois had cooked for the king wanted to put the host in jail. So that's really no pressure at all, right? Bonjour, mes amis. Are you ready to add a little bit more French flavor to your life? If you're not already following me on Instagram, then you're missing out on daily doses of fabulous French food, culture, and life here in beautiful Montmorillon. Well, actually, I'm not in Montmorillon right now. If you're watching me on YouTube, you'll see that I'm actually in New York, but you get the picture. I normally live in Montmorillon. So from buttering croissants to the best local markets, it's all waiting for you. Head over to @AndrewPryerFabulously on Instagram and Threads now, and let's share the joys of French cuisine and living the bon vivant lifestyle together. On the evening of Thursday, the 23rd of April in 1671, the guests arrived at Chantilly after participating in a long hunting party. The guests of honour were taken to the beautifully lit castle, and they all sat at 25 tables to have dinner. After dinner, a 2-hour show took place that included more than 16,000 francs worth of fireworks. The fireworks were partially a failure, though, because there was fog. And then to add to the pressure of the Thursday night dinner, more than 75 extra guests showed up, and there was no roasts for 2 of the tables. Francois is said to have not slept for 12 nights before the dinner, and after the perceived failures of the first night, he was said to repent to himself over and over and again that he'd lost his honour and couldn't survive such a disgrace. However, after the dinner, the prince came into his room to reassure him of the excellence of the meal and told him to give no importance to the lack of meat on the 2 tables in question. I mean, surely they could have just gone a bit vegetarian for one night. For the Friday night dinner on the 24th of April, which was a lean day and part of Lent, Francois decided not to offer his guests river fish. Some thought it was because salmon and trout were considered common, and it's also thought that because in April the fishing of them was too random to ensure the supplies needed for more than 3,000 people. Francois was a regular buyer in Dieppe, which at the time was the largest port on the English Channel in France. He sent emissaries to the port to buy sole, turbot, and even ray, and also shellfish. That Friday morning, Francois was waiting for his fish order at 4 a.m. in the morning, but only 2 baskets arrived. He thought that perhaps more was coming later, but by 8 a.m., no other deliveries had survived. Francois declared to his second-in-charge, Gourville, that, "Sir, I will not survive this affront. I have honour and reputation to lose." Gourville, it's thought, just brushed this comment off and made fun of Francois even. Then, sadly, Francois, it is reported, took himself off to his room. He wedged his sword into the door and threw himself 3 times into the sword. At the same time that Francois was taking his own life, a large order of fish arrived at the chateau. Discover the real France with a Vienne residency cooking experience. Escape the hustle of tourist hotspots and immerse yourself in the charm of rural France. Picture this, staying in a beautifully restored 2-bedroom townhouse in the heart of Montmorillon, a delightful town where history, culture and gastronomy come together. What's included in your stay, I hear you ask? Well, you're home away from home. It's a relaxing, cozy 2-bedroom house that's complete with 2 bedrooms, a shared bathroom, a kitchenette, and a charming lounge, perfect for unwinding after a day of culinary adventures. This is all just for your party. It's a private French cooking class. Roll up your sleeves, or 1 or 2 full-day regional cooking classes in my home kitchen, where we'll prepare and enjoy traditional French dishes for both lunch and dinner. Cultural exploration, where we stroll through Montmorillon's bustling market, browse its quaint galleries, and venture to nearby gems like Limoges, the Loire Valley Chateaux, or other picturesque towns in the nearby area. And there's a warm welcome because we start the journey off with a delightful aperitif and dinner. I think they call that a dinner aperitif. A dine aperitif? I'll have to look that one up. Setting the tone for an unforgettable stay. Whether you're traveling solo, as a couple, or with friends, these private residences are designed for groups of up to 4, making them as intimate as they are indulgent. When can you join, I hear you ask? Well, residencies run from May to October. It's perfect for soaking in the beauty of France's sunlit countryside. Why choose a Vienne residency? Well, that's a good question. It's more than a cooking class. It's a chance to experience the rhythm of French life, guided by a passionate host, that's me, who loves sharing the secrets of the region's culinary heritage, as well as its cultural heritage. Ready to cook, taste, and explore the real France? Well, visit andrewcryfabulously.com for all the details. Your next great adventure awaits. Can't wait to welcome you to Montmorillon. Gorville didn't want to disturb the festivities, so he quickly buried Francois. When the Prince of Condé was later that day told about Francois's death, he cried. And he said that Francois was such a strong person. He didn't understand how he could do this. The king, when he was told about the death, said to the prince that he had not come to Chantilly for 5 years because he knew the concerns of stewardship his visit would cause. That Condé should have set only 2 tables and not taken care of all the others. And that he, the king, could no longer stand that Condé felt obliged to put so much pomp and ceremony into the occasion that led to the pressure and finally Francois's death. Although the fish had arrived at the chateau, the guests deprived themselves of this dish out of respect of Francois. This sumptuous festival that still went as planned by Francois was admired by the entire court and the king, and marked the return of the Grand Condé to grace with Louis XIV. The story of this banquet has been told many times in literature and the arts, from guests who were actually there and wrote about it, such as the Marquis de Sévigné and the Duke of Saint-Simon. And then throughout later years, where he appeared as characters in novels. And of course, he was played by Gerard Depardieu in the movie about the feast called Vatel, that debuted in 2000. Alain Saban in 1981 opened a hotel school and called it the Vatel Hotel School in Francois's honour. There's a place Vatel in his honour in Toulon and a restaurant or Petit Vatel in Alençon. Many believe, and Francois is often accredited to, being the creator of crème chantilly or chantilly cream, which is a sweet vanilla flavoured whipped cream. But unfortunately, this is inaccurate. He might have used it, but creme chantilly was around and written about some 100 years before the birth of Francois. François Vatel's life and legacy embodied the intersection of culinary artistry, ambition, and tragedy. From his humble beginnings in Tournai to his pivotal role in some of the most opulent feasts, Vatel's unwavering commitment to excellence left an indelible mark on French gastronomy. His story serves as both a cautionary tale and an inspiration, reminding us of the human cost behind the pursuit of perfection. Today, the name continues to evoke admiration and intrigue, ensuring that the legend of François Vatel endures for many generations to come. Bonjour, fabulous listeners. Are you part of the Fabulously Delicious Substack newsletter community yet? If not, you're truly missing out. Whether you're a French food lover, a Francophile, or simply curious about life here in France, my newsletter is your backstage pass to all things fabulous. By signing up, you'll unlock exclusive stories and behind-the-scenes insights, special offers just for our cherished community, deliciously inspiring content about French cuisine and culture. And the best part, you can choose a free subscription or upgrade to a paid one for even more fabulous perks. And of course, that paid subscription helps to support Fabulously Delicious, the French food podcast. So why wait? Click the link in the show notes for this episode or visit andrewpryorfabulously.com to join today. Let's explore the delicious world of French food and life here in France together. The Marquis de Sivigny, a prominent French writer who attended the Feast of Chantilly, remarked in one of her letters about Vatel's death. The fish was not on time, and this man, who had a sense of honour and a reputation to preserve, stabbed himself. The fish arrived after his death. This event has cast a shadow over the festivities. The Duke of Saint-Simon, a chronicler of the French court, wrote, Vatel, in despair over the failure of his arrangements, believed his honour lost and ended his life, showing to what point grandeur and magnificence were carried in those times. And King Louis XIV, upon learning of Vatel's death, is reported to have said, I came to Chantilly after 5 years knowing the concerns my visit caused, and now see what has happened. This obsession with pomp has cost a life. Fabulously Delicious is a part of the Evergreen Podcast Network. You can join us as we explore the delicious world of French cuisine and culture alongside a fantastic lineup of podcasts. Stay tuned for more fabulous content and delightful conversations. And that's it for this episode of Fabulously Delicious and our The Story Of series. What did you think of the life and legacy of François Vatel? Did you discover something new or gain a deeper appreciation of their contribution to French cuisine? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Slide into my DMs on Instagram at andrewpryorfabulously.com, or you can send me an email at contact@andrewpryorfabulously.com. Let's talk about François Vatel, his life, and anything else that you found fascinating in today's episode. If you enjoyed this journey through the past, please take a moment to rate and review the podcast on your favourite platform. Your feedback not only means the world to me, but it also helps more fabulous French foodies and food lovers find Fabulously Delicious. Why not share the episode with your fellow food lovers or anybody who adores French cuisine that you might know? Your support keeps these stories alive and celebrated. Thank you so much for joining me as we honour the chefs who made French food what it is today. Remember what my motto is: whatever you do it fabulously. Merci beaucoup, and as always, bon app. Until next time, au revoir.